All right, Helen, 2-0. How's it feel to be back on the mat?
Oh my gosh, it feels amazing. So this is more than a dream come true. Like, not only to be healthy, but to get back on the mat. I mean, even a week ago, I didn't really think this was going to happen this week. Just the way God's done everything in my life has been really amazing. So.
All right, you got 2 pins on Jenna today. How do you feel you performed?
Definitely a lot better than this morning. This morning was my first match in over a year, and I started studying my old matches, and I just had to really study and like kind of relive stuff and get in that mindset. And I think for these 2 matches with Jenna, I was able to really tap into it. And honestly, it really felt like the warm-up before the second session. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I do. I don't do that much. I know exactly how I want to feel, and everything just came back. It was like riding a bicycle. I mean, the wrestling needs a lot of work, but the feeling and the like kind of contentment, that it was good.
Allie in the morning and then Jenna this afternoon, both wrestled extremely physical. Was that something you kind of expected? I think after your first match against Allie, you said, both wrestlers are tough, they're brawlers. But how did their approach to the matches? How did they respond to it?
Jenna I respect a lot because that's just her style, and she said she's a brawler from the get-go. So when we practice, it's like that, and it's always fun. You just shake hands after, and it's just always a good go. Allie, I feel like completely abandoned her own style to like try and play this physical game with me. And to me, as soon as it happened, I'm like, well, that just tells me a lot about your belief in your abilities if you're like going for this game plan. So I just right then and there was like, I know I'm gonna win. And again, it was really close, so you don't ever know. But yeah, I was more surprised by that, and but that's good because that's what I expected the foreigners to do. I think everyone's paying attention. Everyone that has followed or that does know about the injury, it's just reality. That's probably what they're going to go for. But anything that I shared about it, I wouldn't share and then come back if it was like going to be dangerous or an issue. So for me, I'm like, it makes wrestling more like a boxing match, but I'm still going to wrestle the way I wrestle.
During the match with Jenna, you stopped for a second and shook hands. Was that an eye poke or a head bump? Or?
No, we were just getting physical. But I mean, like I said, with Jenna, like we just get like that. And it's, there's some people that they just bring out that competitiveness, and she really does brawl. That really is her style. And so she's getting physical, and I'm like, all right, so I'm getting physical. And then the ref was kind of, like whatever. And that's the same way we react every time. Like, hey, shake hands. It's nothing personal. So.
In recent interviews, you've been pretty forthright about your injuries and your recovery and this process, which obviously affects making the decision to compete in the Olympics again. What was your decision to be, so open about these things?
I think in 2018 when I lost and I shared that, I wanted to do the right thing for my health first and foremost, and I had accountability. I had people that walked with me through everything from doctors, friends, mentors, my family. And then in August, or around September, October, I really did retire. And I just remember crying to my mom, and she said, you can't go out there and be hesitant or be afraid someone's gonna touch your head, because you're gonna lose every time or you're gonna get hurt again. And so I was like, oh, that's a good point. And then, but she did say, she's like, but do I think you could win again? Yeah, absolutely. And that just like kind of broke me, because I'm like, man, I don't wanna stop, before, like too soon. Coming back, I went home for Christmas. I was actually supposed to just go home for a week, and I thought I was done wrestling, and my parents were like, you can lie to anyone you want, but you're our daughter and we know you're not happy. And I just kind of told them, like, I don't want to spend the rest of my life just sitting in bed, like hoping that I feel better, that something doesn't go wrong, or that, and so we kind of just sought out some doctors, and my family bent over backwards to find answers, to be proactive, and all these things just fell into place one after another. And kind of the last piece of the puzzle was just how much can you push through, not push through anything physically, but psychologically, to just leave the past in the past. And so that's kind of been my whole theme is, one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and pressing on towards what is ahead. So that's just kind of been my motto.
Seems like you improved. You had 3 matches today. First one was kind of feeling out, getting back in the swing of things, and then by the 3rd match, setting up that pinning combination against Jenna. That was extremely impressive. Did you feel like you were getting your legs back underneath you and more familiarity as you went?
I felt, yeah, with the first match, I was like, I didn't know up from down even before I stepped on the mat. So all I knew was like, I'm just going for this. Second match, I started moving well right after that first takedown, but I also like twisted my ankle or something cracked, so I was like, crap. Third match, I don't think I wrestled that well. I think I was like hanging out, just real sloppy in ties, and I didn't know if that was like my ankle or just, I think with her I just had to be smart and kind of bid my time, and I can hear how people breathe when they're wrestling, and I'm just like, all right, you're gonna get, tired, or something's gonna open up, and you gotta be patient for that.
How important is it to you that you now have the opportunity to qualify the weight for the U.S.?
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, super important, because I, in 2016, did it where I pulled out. I couldn't make the weight before, and the weight didn't get qualified, so I did Olympic trials and then had to go make weight like 10 days later in Mongolia, and that was super rough. And then I was just watching the Rome, the ranking tournament this year, and I was like, I want to qualify the weight myself. Like, I just believe in myself. I think everyone obviously wants to do it themselves, so but really I thought this week was going to be like, hey, let's just like weigh in for the first time and step on the mat and see. I mean, literally like last Friday, John, the coach, we were just joking, and I'm like, I'm just going to try and go for 6 minutes. Like, we'll see what happens. But I also, huge shout out to Coach Cal, Training Lab, and everyone that prepared me. We had a plan, and literally it took until that day for it to click. So I need it all the time. But yeah, it's really important. I'm sorry I'm rambling. I'm like, haven't been like this much up energy, and like, oh.
Gotta get in the interviewing swing.
Yeah, yeah. When you're like preparing for a match and you gotta like dig deep and get all the, I don't know how to break it down yet.
Well, of course, there are 2 events happening this weekend, the WCWAs, in addition to the Wrestle-Off, and you yourself are a 4-time WCWA national champion. How does it feel to be back in this environment and being able to wrestle and compete against these other women that are coming up in the college scene?
It's incredible. My mom and I were talking today, and we're looking up all the schools here and just all the competitors, and it's amazing to see. And not just WCWA, but like you said, there's other tournaments going on right now for women's wrestling. There's other divisions now, and it's only a matter of time before NCAA, all the divisions add that as well. So to see the growth here and to see the level of competition that these girls are performing in, it's just incredible.
Coach Snyder said that your legacy is cemented, and I think all wrestling fans would agree with that. That you didn't ever have to wrestle another match in your life, but now how important is it that you not only have made the decision, that you went out there, competed, and then won?
It's funny because when I told Terry, I said, hey, I might not wrestle again, and he had mentioned that to me, and I talked to my mom, and she kind of said, like, a lot of times throughout the squad, do you really want to do this? You say you want to do it, and then you have these, these highs and lows, and I said, there's just been a lot of stuff that's happened, and I'm still that little girl that fell in love with the sport, that's going to love it till the day I die, and if I can have one more opportunity to enjoy that, then I'm going to do it. But I had to do a lot of work internally with myself, with healing, with forgiveness, with a bunch of stuff psychologically, to just get back to, it's just a sport. This is really easy. Like, this is really the easy life. I did the whole retirement trying to figure out what I was going to do, and to just be an athlete and get to do what you love every day, and you have so many people helping you and behind you, like that's a blessing. Like, this is such a gift. So I'm not looking at it as legacy. It's such a blessing to do what I love.
Now you get to do it in front of the next generation that are out there right now, the WCWA championships going on. I guess any last words for any other women that are young women that are aspiring to reach their goals and dreams as well?
I would say stick with it. 21 years ago, I started wrestling, and I never imagined that it would be where it is today. And you can just tell that it's going to continue excelling, and I think women's wrestling is going to be huge. So to every little girl that has that dream, just keep believing, keep pushing. Those opportunities are going to present themselves. College, university, Olympics, whatever you want to do, I think you should excel and be the best you can at it.
All right.
Fantastic. Congratulations again.
Thanks, Helen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Helen.